Hi guys, glad you came across this video. In this soon-to-be video series, I'll be breaking down the 3D design process as it relates to footwear. First video is going to be focused solely on the 2D design. In particular, what steps it takes to execute appealing designs here that will set yourself up for success in the coming 3D. Without further ado, follow along as we get started. So prior to any pencil getting touched, I'll tend to gather my thoughts and inspiration. My ultimate goal is typically to create the most original, never before seen design possible. In doing so, I'll tend to refer to reference outside the footwear industry, because if you keep looking at other designers' work, you end up subconsciously mimicking their style, where I prefer to observe the highest form of design, which is nature. Now that you have a set of ideas and thoughts generated, it's time to hit the ground running and begin concepting immediately. Having those ideas already generated prevents any sort of writer's block, and you can hit the ground running immediately. For these early stages, I tend to rely on very gestural focus to the art. It should be focused more on the overall silhouette of the shoe. It's very important to key in on what is working and what isn't in the sketch. In particular, what ideas are good ideas, just not executed on particularly well in the sketch. As in, you can't sketch the item. It's just not appealing, even though the idea itself is good. It's just you're not executing on well enough. It could be something you end up adapting later on in your design. But any of these early sketches typically will begin at like a 2-inch from heel to toe, and that allows for just a small sketch area, fewer movements of the hand, and they're meant to be quick and dirty sketches just to pump out a set. It could be the second design that you find appealing, it could be the 50th, but it's important to it's one of the more important skills to master early on in your career as an artist, is to know when to stop, to know when to move on to the next stage. That next stage being inking. With this sketch, you can now use a tracing lamp to actually add some extra details and finesse to that prior sketch. Not being afraid to mess up that original sketch, because this is basically like a traditional form of an undo button, right? So with that, you can pump out quite a few variations of that previous sketch in pin form, where your strokes are a lot more purposeful and you're focused more on the granular details. At this stage, I consider the prior stage more very artistic driven. This is more industrial design, where you're solving problems. You're questioning everything. You're questioning why there are 3 sets of laces on this piece of footwear. Why is the tread so sharp? Why isn't there a swoosh? Each of these questions should be answered through refining the design. As a final step, I'll see about adding 3 sets of color. This being gray, red, and white. This has been chosen as of late because it's a very modern, almost sci-fi appeal to it. It's less specifically about the colors, but it's more about that early indication of material change. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, I mean, I consider this to be the final stage of the concept from here, I'll take a photo, bring it into Photoshop, and do any final like proportion tweaks. Outside of that, it's usually good to go in 3D. This isn't the last time we'll be touching 2D, as in we'll like typically like later on through the 3D process, if you're running into challenges, we'll like go back and like do paint overs after the fact. But as of right now, this is the direction we're going. So stick around, and I'll hope to show a little bit more of the process of the actual modeling itself, but the next video is going to be focused on the modeling. So looking forward to get that out to you guys. See ya.